Okay, thanks for joining. We might get a couple other folks kind of jumping on here as well. I'm going to make this brief for everyone today. What the goal of today's webinar, just like I said, the MLS mapping functionality. We've talked in the past several different ways to run comps and to essentially put a valuation onto a property when you are trying to either take a listing and or give a homeowner an idea of what their home is worth. One of the ways that we've talked about in the past, and I'm just going to jump right into this, like I said, is going to tax records. I just pulled up a random property here. Obviously, I think by this point, folks know how to go to tax records here, and then to IMAP will take you to this. You can put in an individual's name, you can put in an address, and then it'll then take you to this page. So you can see we have a property here, off 90th Street and Saguaro Drive in Scottsdale. You can find out all the details, number one, about this particular property, from the lot size to the year built to the square footage verification, see the owners, et cetera, et cetera. One of the easy ways on here to run a comparable is a one-button click. You can click comparable properties. That's going to show you why the computer thinks here. That's going to show you comparable sales. That's going to take you back from 6 months. You can see right now, in what I do know about this property, it actually happens to be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1579 square feet. So we can see on my screen here, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 comps that it's pulling in. Okay, if this is a sufficient data for you to feel like as an agent that you can get a good valuation of the property, great. If not, you can change some of these parameters. For instance, I usually like to get rid of the low property, so we'll get rid of that 210 and maybe get rid of the high at 385. That's just something I like to do. We're still in that 309 price per square foot. You can see right here. If you want to change any of this criteria, in a fast-paced market that we've been in for the last, couple years, maybe you go to 3 months. You want to see everything that's sold in the last 3 months. It's going to provide a little bit more recent data and a better valuation. You can go to, what looks like we're, at 312, so it actually bumped it up a little bit. If you're not getting enough data within this search parameters, you could go, 2 miles out, or you could mess with the building square footage or the lot square footage or anything. So this is one way to put a valuation onto a property and get a good idea of what a home is worth. As agents, the MLS, we need to be masters of the MLS. This is the lifeline of our industry. Tons of data on here, obviously. We want to be educated with price points and activity, what things are going for and what they're moving for, and the things that are going on around us. Obviously, if you as agents are marketing a particular area, maybe it's DC Ranch, whatever it may be, you want to know what's going on in that area, and you want to be up to speed with activity. So again, this is one way through tax records to get a valuation. Again, you could see 312. So maybe a situation like this, you come in and you list it at 319.9 or maybe 329.9, something like that. And again, you can kind of feel your way around that. Going back on this tax records page before we get to the map search, which we're all here for today, you can, through this main tax records page, if you haven't spent any time here, again, get to know these pages, get to know the MLS. You can see that this property right here, was sold recently. You can go and check out other properties that were sold. That looks like a rental for $1,850 across the street. Looks like it sold for $440 in December. A little bit bigger property there. So, this particular property, one up, sold for $335. So you can hit these arrows on the map and expand your area and go in different directions, again, to gather information. That's what it's really all about, is gathering information. So that's one way, again, through tax records to get a valuation for a property. Another way that, again, why we're here today and what I want to show you folks is a way to do it, a map search, almost like an appraiser is going to do. And I know some of you have, I'm kind of old school when it comes to my view that you see here on my page. I like the old school classic view. I know some of you have all your tabs on the left. However you get there, it doesn't really matter as long as we're getting to map search. So obviously in this case we're a residential, so we're going to go for residential. So it's going to essentially just what it sounds like. It's going to pull up the map here. This computer's a little slow today. I apologize. So me knowing, again, you have to find on the map where this particular property is, and we're gonna go find that. Again, this was 90th Street and Cactus area. So I know that this property that I just pulled up is right in this area, right in this corridor, right in here. Again, knowing, since I know where this property is, 90th Street north of Cactus on Saguaro, right here in this area. So what I'm going to show you now is essentially what an appraiser is going to do. If I'm trying to get further data or further information to put a valuation onto this property, again, if, for instance, if we're getting ready to list this home, this is one of the key tools that I like to put a valuation on a property. And see these tabs here at the bottom. Again, an appraiser is going to come in and they're going to use things within a mile radius, ideally, as long as there's enough data to support and enough data to give them, a good information. If not, then obviously appraisers can go out farther if need be. The tool that I like here is this circle. You can see where my cursor's at, the circle, okay? I go down again. I know that this property is right in this corridor. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on that. Oh. We're going to click on this area, okay, and see we can open this entire search up, okay, and I'm going to take it right to 1 mile, okay? So now we have a 1 mile radius of everything that's going on within this community. If you go back down here on the bottom of the screen where I have my cursor, you can do a circle. If you know particular areas are comparable and others aren't, you could do a polygon and you could draw out your exact map if you want. You could also do it by square, which is more of like a grid situation, or a rectangle to do the same thing. Again, I like the circle because that's going to give us a full mile radius, exactly like an appraiser is going to do. So now that we have our idea, essentially our area outlined, I'm only concerned, again, you might be concerned to know what's going on around you, so maybe you do want to see active and pendings. Again, to put a valuation, we want to see what's closed. Okay, so for the case of this, let's go back and say, we're going to see everything in here, and we're going to see everything that's sold within the last month. So let's just say we're going to go back to February 1st of 2014. Okay, so that's going to show us all the closings since February 1st of 2014. And again, for this one, I'm going to take off the actives. I'm just going to do closed. Okay, so we now have sales. We have 90. You can see the results. We have 90 sales so far. And again, we want to continue to push down. This home that we are looking up, we know is a 3-bedroom. So I only want to see 3 bedrooms. I want to compare against the most like-for-like data that I can find. So even doing just that, we can see now there's 31 sales. Okay, this particular property is a 2-bath. So maybe we just want to see only 2-bath. What are 3 bedrooms, 2 baths selling for in this exact area? Okay, now you can see we have 22 results. This property is 1,579 square feet. So let's see everything from 1,400 square feet to let's say 1,800 square feet. Okay, you can see already we've developed an entire mile radius search, okay, with essentially the exact criteria that is comparable to this home that we're dealing with, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, just under 1,600 square feet. Okay, so now we have 8 results. Okay, those are very detailed, like for like results that we now have. Okay, so now you can click on these exact properties. Again, these are 8 properties that you could use, that you could do. You could present to a seller saying, hey, these are what things are going for. Again, this doesn't account for upgrades. Whatever may have been done to the property. Obviously, it doesn't account for layout or floor plan or how the lot is situated or each individual neighborhood. Of course, there's a lot of different variables that go into each and every property that you come across, obviously, in the market. But what this does is provides you a close-up view just like an appraiser is going to do. Okay, very, very accurate. One of the most detailed and accurate ways to develop or to put a valuation onto a property. So again, you can obviously, I hope at this point, folks are familiar with emailing, properties, and continuing to, you can run CMAs through here. You can email this. You can save this search. We could save the criteria and everything that we've done. Again, if you wanted to email this, a lot of times when I'm presenting and or when I'm printing, I have a printout when I'm going to a listing appointment, they don't need to see the full listing reports. What do they want to see? They want to see a one-line report. Okay, so a special conditioning one-liner that's going to give us all that information in a one-line view. Okay, so again, I don't need to walk through everybody unnecessarily how to email and the reports to do, but I just kind of wanted to show you that. So, like I said, today is very, very brief. That's essentially all we wanted to go through today, is show people this map search tool. Again, most people are not familiar with map search. They'll either go to a quick search or a full search, but most folks are not up to speed with a map search. It is a very, very useful tool again to bring a true valuation into a property. And again, we just did solds. If we're trying to put a valuation, but you can do actives. Obviously, you want to do actives and be able to see what your competition is. So what are the other 3 bedrooms, 2 baths in this particular area? What are they listed for? You could see what your competition is. You can see how long it's taken these other folks to sell. So here, let's go back to a mile radius. Doesn't need to be exact. Maybe we want to go back and just see everything that's active. What do we want to see? Okay, let's see everything that's active, 3 bedroom with 2 bath. Okay. Here's our competition. Okay. Now we're getting ready to put this. On the market. Here are 20 exact. Well, not exact, of course, due to the different conditions and upgrades and finishes, etc. But here are 20 listings that we'll essentially be competing with. So you can see, obviously, all the way on the low end to properties listed as high as $469,900. I mean, this could be heavily upgraded. You can see that this is 2,200 square feet, so it's not an exact comparable to us. You know what I mean? Again, these are more things and more data that you can play around with to try to get like for like properties and like for like data. So. Hope this was helpful for everybody. And again, just another quick tool to help your knowledge base and help bring a closer look into providing valuations into properties. I'll open it up now. I don't know if anybody has any questions, anything else you want me to touch on. Please feel free to chime in and ask any questions. And obviously, everyone should be unmuted at this point and be able to ask questions. So I'll open that up. No questions? Yes.
I got a question, Jeremy.
Sure.
Are you also concerned with building date? When you do these kinds of searches, construction date of the particular dwelling that you're searching to do?
Absolutely. Yeah, you definitely want to provide as much, in this area, in this corridor, you have some homes they're brand new, going back to homes that have been built in the 80s, so absolutely want to be concerned with. And, for me, we when we put in these details, this criteria, it actually narrowed it down pretty well. You don't want to narrow it down where you only have 1 or 2 things. For me personally, I like to see a little bit more data. I like to be able to kind of sift through a little bit. I'd rather see more than less. I'd rather take the time to look through and kind of see what we're dealing with. But absolutely, anything, and that's one key area. Anything that you can do to narrow down and create more of a like for like scenario. Absolutely.
How, and not to dominate the questions, but I mean, when you're doing kind of comparables, what's the minimum number of comparables? You're going for, you know, matching up as much as you can, but sometimes you may have to unmatch in order to get some comparables and then kind of explain the unlike for unlike. But is there a minimum number of present a potential client when you're doing, a CMA perhaps?
I personally like to present, anywhere from 5 to 6, like for like prop. Yeah, that's kind of a general. And again, it just kind of goes on feel or area. But yeah, five or six, solds, and then maybe 5 or 6 active as well. So you can say, here's our competition. We're competing against these 5 or 6 properties. We want to be competitive with what's on the market, obviously. And here's 5 or 6 solds. Here's 5 or 6 solds where this is a true valuation. And I personally am very big on setting the expectation with clients, and letting them know. Here's our 5 or 6 active. This is going to be our competition and what we're going to be up against, and maybe that's at X amount. Here's 5 or 6 sales that could potentially be at X amount for what's sold. So no problem, maybe starting a little bit higher, but I want to set that expectation with the seller and say, this is what I believe it's going to take to get the property sold. Again, when an appraiser comes in, they don't look at actives; they look at solds. We need closed and sold data to provide a valuation. It's not active or pending. So
And again, on the pending side, is that another place where you would use that to help support your argument for, price point
you
sensitivity?
you absolutely could, in terms of your own knowledge base, in terms of the seller's own knowledge base. Here's 5 or 6 pendings that are. Again, you're not going to necessarily know what they're under contract for, but you know what they're listed. You know what they're listed for. You know the price per square foot, etc. Again, it is more data where you can say, these are the things that are moving. You could see these five or six sales that are all 200 a square foot. That's what's moving. You can see these 5 or 6 active that are at 250 a foot, and they've been on an average of 100 days. Those aren't moving. You know what I mean? So again, it's all about compiling information, compiling data. And again, since you brought up the fact of the year built, let's go, again, that home that we started with, that we're truly trying to price out, I know that was built in 1985. So let's say I want to see everything that's built from 1980 to maybe even say 1995, because after 95 maybe it's a little bit of a newer product. Okay, here we go back, still 15 results. That's still enough data for me, if you ask me. You know what I mean? So it's enough to go ahead.
I was going to say, you might be able to kind of winnow that, if it was 85, you might be able to winnow it down because you got, looks like 12. You might be able to winnow that built data down a bit to get to your half a dozen that is, 83 to 87 kind of a thing.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yes, I mean taking it back to 1990 again. We're right in the middle. This one was built in 85. We're going to go 1980 to 1990. Now we're back to 11 results. And again, these are going to be true comparisons in terms of bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage. Or I thought we still didn't change the square footage on this particular view, but you're creating a very similar like for like scenario here. And again, then you can spend that time, you as the agent, as the professional, you can go in and look at these properties now, of course, do your research. Is this comparable? Knowing what I know about this property, this one here is not particularly comparable. This neighborhood is south of Cactus, a little bit more dated of a neighborhood. Okay. So when you go north of Cactus, you're dealing with a little bit nicer, cleaner, a little bit more upscale neighborhoods. So this one at 283, maybe this isn't exactly comparable. These ones on Sutton, on Wood, I mean, these are all the same neighborhoods of our subject property that it provides even a closer look at value. So.
No, thank you. I appreciate the
Absolutely.
insight.
Absolutely. Any other questions? Anyone else have any questions that I can answer here before we let everyone get on their way? I'll take that as a no. So I just want to thank everybody again for joining this. Obviously, this webinar will go on to our back end, our My CRM, and you can view this at any time. We hope this helps. As always, we're here for you guys. Please let us know if you have any questions, concerns, whatever is pressing with your business. Please reach out to us. We're here to help. We're here to help you grow your business. So again, I want to thank everybody. Good luck out there today. Go get them. Talk soon.
Thanks, Jeremy.
See ya.